Great. Audio is good. Okay. So of course, this is my mom. I call her Okasan because Okasan means mom in Japanese. And as you know, or if you don't know, I'm half Japanese, half German, and my mother is the Japanese. So I call her Okasan, but she is my mother. And that's what it is. Of course, it's my birthday. So thank you for coming on to the live. This is the person who birthed me.
Thank you for having me, Tina.
What?
Thank you for having me here, Tina.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, this is my first experience on YouTube, so nervous.
Yes. So this is, although my mom loves to go on YouTube herself. Well, no. You love to play YouTube videos.
Oh, play YouTube video, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that being said, so she's on. And I wanted to just go right into it. And if you have Q&A or any questions for my mom, then go in the chat. Thank you. Thank you. Happy birthday. Thank you. And say hello to your mother. Yes. Your mom looks so young. Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's doing her thing.
Our voices are, look like,
What?
Our voices, people said, our voices are, kind of similar,
Similar, but yeah, I don't know about that.
Oh, okay.
But yes, we are told that we sound alike too. Apparently, my friends would call when I was in high school, and they wouldn't know if it was my mom or myself. And even my grandma can't even tell between us when we get on the phone. And I speak Japanese; she doesn't even know. And I think I know. I think I have a little American accent, but apparently not. Because she thinks I'm you. Anyway, that being said, I wanted to ask the first question to my mom.
Really? We're not gonna do happy birthday to you? Like,
oh, are you gonna sing happy birthday to me? You're gonna.
Also, I have.
Oh. Cake time.
Oh, yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah. So give me 30 seconds, okay?
30 seconds. Okay. Oh, she has surprises. I didn't even know. お誕生日おめでとうございます. Thank you, Patrick. Look at that, Nihongo. Yeah, as you can see, my mom has a similar vibe as me, I guess, in some ways. She is awesome. Thank you, Maurice. She is awesome. I have no idea what she's doing right now. That is the direction of the kitchen. That's all I know.
Happy birthday.
Oh.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tina-chan. Happy birthday to you.
Yay!
Make a wish.
Thank you. Oh, yay! Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, I made it yesterday, Yeah.
You made it?
I made it, of course. Yeah. And the cookies. This is, by the way, gluten-free cookies.
Oh, that's great. I'm so glad I'm in.
Raspberry.
Yeah. What? So you basically thank you so much. Thank you. That's very nice of you. Oh my gosh. Wow. So you're gonna eat all of that then?
I know. Well, yeah. Maybe in the future, you can taste it.
Well, I mean, but you're gonna eat that one.
Can I get this for you?
Oh, peeps! Yay!
I found this one.
What is that?
Peeps. Well, look at this.
Oh wow! That's for kids.
I know, but you're a kid, So.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, there's that. And thank you everybody for happy birthday. Right. So I guess that's a good start off. Thank you. Officially, well, I'm not going to say my age, but but I obviously I've known you my whole life. So and we haven't always necessarily been super close, but I think we became super close when I was around middle school, middle school time. Uh, and and you kind of raised me like a Japanese mom, where you had expectations of me, and I think because of that, and when I was a child, it was very, I thought, oh, my mom's being unfair. And she's horrible, and she made me do math, and I hated it at the time. Now it's my favorite subject. And I think that it's my favorite subject just because I'm good at it. But I wouldn't have been good at it unless my mom made me. And I remember she would sit me down and she would drill me on it. But I have memories like that, and I'm thankful for it now. Not so much back then, because I didn't. When you're a kid, you don't know, right? And then now I'm very thankful for it, just because it's the basis of what makes me work hard, and my work ethic, and just a lot of positive attributes about me, and my tenacity to go for certain things is because of my mom. And she's always encouraged me. So thank you, Oka-san. And so, for those of you who don't know too, my mom, Vicky, I'm 22, that's right. My mom, she was born and raised in Japan, and she herself had the tenacity to fly over to America when she was 19. You're 19?
First time, yeah. Mhm.
First time, yeah, you're 19. And then, yeah, so whole new country, totally different environment, totally different culture, especially back in, I don't know when it was, the 80s, the 70s. I don't know. I don't want to date you, but yeah, so yeah, she has a history of her own, and wildly successful in her own career, in her own right now. So yes, she's my inspiration. But I know, Kasa, you had a theory, because of course my channel is about charisma, communication, confidence. You had a theory about why I was shy when I was a kid. And we haven't discussed this beforehand, so I don't know what she's going to say. I have my own theories of why that is, because I was very shy. I wouldn't even say hi to anybody. I wouldn't even look at anybody. Just the polar opposite of who I am today. But okay, so why do you think I was so shy when I was a kid?
I don't know, back then I didn't know, but now, I recall maybe I thought, in your heart, maybe it's kind of, much older than, ours, So you think, you thought, maybe, you felt, we are doing kind of dumb things, like, we fought or something, and then, we didn't, say something right to you, and then maybe you felt hurt, and then that's why, maybe your heart knew what's going on, maybe in your head, maybe you didn't, but in your heart, so made you, kind of bashful, you didn't say anything, and then maybe in those days you didn't have your own voice, like you do have now, So yeah, so you couldn't tell, how you felt, that time. Yeah, that's why maybe I thought, yeah, you were so quiet, Yeah. Mhm.
Are you're making me emotional, but are you talking, are you talking about you and dad, or what are you talking about?
Oh, no, generally, yeah, maybe you think, that kind of, the life is the kind of, I thought, I felt, you were, kind of adult, even though you were, yeah, little, you knew maybe what was going on, even though you know, you were little, you know. Yeah.
Like what?
Like, you know, it seems like, you know, you are quiet, but you kind of, you know, saw us, you know, like in kind of backstage. And, you know, so I thought maybe, you know, you didn't adjust. I mean, you know, you weren't so comfortable, you know, you were uncomfortable, you know, when you were there, you know. Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea what you're saying right now, to be honest.
Yeah, so I don't know, but you know, I just thought, you know, you just, you know, felt uncomfortable, you know. Yeah, that's why you didn't say much, you know. Maybe you didn't know how to say, you know. Yeah, how to tell us, you know, what you felt or something.
Because I have language issues? Why?
No, I don't know why you didn't speak much, you know. I think, you know, you were just, you know, yeah, just shy maybe that time. Maybe
Well,
you,
okay, so this is my theory
yeah,
because I'm not quite sure what you're saying, to be
yeah.
honest.
Mhm.
Um, you're saying I have an old soul or something,
Yeah, something like that. Maybe when you were little, you know, it's maybe
but
you
not
don't.
so much now.
Yeah. It's not much so much now. I don't know.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's
you
how
know,
that works, but
but you know, yeah. Even though you were little, you know, maybe you had an old soul or something, you know. So you know, that's you know kind of dumb things, right? You know, yeah. So maybe you kind of you know saw that, and then you know you wanted to say something to us, but you know you didn't, you know. So maybe you just thought you know it was not you felt unfair or something, you know. I don't know. Yeah, something like that. Mhm.
there's something deeper to this, but we don't have to talk about it now,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
But okay. I mean, sure, I guess Tina has a Benjamin Button, so yeah. I think this is my theory,
Yeah.
is that I grew up confused because of my household, especially. I had a Japanese mom. I had a out for anyone else. Oh, is it lagging? Webinar is now streaming live on YouTube. Okay, let me know if it's lagging. Yeah, so anyway, that's my theory. But I wonder how it was for you because, okay, I mean, I can go in either direction, but for you, as a Japanese woman who came to America, was there a culture shock for you? I know you studied beforehand English, but that's different
Oh, yeah,
from,
totally different, you know. Yeah, we just learn the, you know, grammar and the writing and stuff like that, you know, and also culture, you know. First time I came to the States, so shocked, you know. Yeah, so different, you know. So I couldn't even talk. That's why I kind of understand your, you know, feeling, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess they missed it because my video lagged.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
so what I was trying to say is that because my household had both Japanese and American influence, and I wasn't sure which one was socially meant to be a Japanese protocol or social rule, and which one was supposed to be an American social rule, that I just completely shut down and became shy because I was just so confused and overwhelmed by trying to figure out what was correct and what was incorrect. And it was just so confusing for me. I just shut down. So that's basically what I was saying entirely earlier. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So it was different for you. Okasan, can you hear me?
Yeah. Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm,
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So I guess we could talk about me today.
mhm.
Okay, so I mentioned this earlier, but
You today.
what me and my mom have is a great example of the fact that words do not communicate at all. And when I say this, I don't know if you know where I'm going with this, but oftentimes we would go out, let's say we go to a restaurant and we're talking to each other. And there's a point in which we were talking for 30 minutes, I swear. And then it turns out we had no idea what we were both talking about.
Different way, you know. Yeah.
And, but we enjoy each other's company a lot.
Even though we do understand sometimes.
And it's so weird because I guess people understand my mom and people understand me, but we just don't understand each other in terms of the content in which we are talking, the content.
From the word we didn't understand, but you know, yeah, we enjoy the atmosphere, right? You know.
Well, we enjoy, so we use our body language, we use our tonality, and we basically, a lot of the times, more than most people, we communicate based on body language and tonality more than anything. We pretty much.
I think it's so relaxing, you know. So I didn't maybe, you know, listen to your words much, you know, so relaxing, you know.
Yeah, so you're very comfortable with me. So you got lazy and listen.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, too comfortable.
But me too.
Yeah.
But I think that's what people. I think that's what people do when they become really close to people, is that they start to rely more heavily on the body language and tonality, more so than what the context in which they are saying, which explains people who just like people. For me, I meet people and I instantly either like them or I don't really care for them. And I know some of my friends can vouch for this, but there's some people that in my head anyway, I'm saying to myself, this person's going to be my friend. Or I'm saying to myself, that's going to be a guy I'm dating. I already know in my head before I even talk to them, because it's picking up on the other things that has nothing to do with words and everything to do with all the other stuff, because words is only supposed to be 7% of communication. And I did a whole video on this on 9 ways to build rapport, but that's how rapport is built before you even utter a single word. And especially nowadays when we're on online communication like this, talk about social media, talk about when you put videos out there. People have reached out to me, especially in the last 2 weeks, that I've never met before, who are not in the communities that I've been in prior. So they just purely found me on YouTube, or from Instagram or from LinkedIn or somewhere else. Uh, and then they're talking to me as if I'm already their friend. Why? Not because we had a communication back and forth, but because they already have a sense of who I am, what I'm about, even if they only watched one video. It's not that all these people watch all of my videos. Most of them barely even watch 2, barely, but they already feel like I get a sense of Tina, what she's about, who she is, what she is energetically. And the same goes with my mom. You probably saw my mom and you have an idea about what she's about, even though she's barely spoken this whole time, right? And so, yeah, it just goes to show how important it is. I don't know if you have an opinion on that, because how important is that for you? And you work in a corporate environment, so you know a little bit about that.
Yeah. On your business, you know, there's subjects, right? So, you know, yeah, you have to talk about that subject, but, you know, just personal life, you know, I think the most, yeah, the conversation, you know, you need to make, but since I know you very well, that's why I really maybe, you know, try not to understand from your, you know, words, you know, maybe because I already know you, you know. Yeah.
No, but okay, you say that there's a subject. In personal life, there's a subject too.
Yeah, subject too, but you know, that subject, you know, when you, I don't know, maybe, you know, when you talk about yourself, somehow I think about myself. That's why sometimes maybe, you know, yeah, I don't, you know, I don't listen, you know, maybe deeply, you know. Yeah. because
What? Okay, this is horrible
yeah,
because I
because
don't.
I take it maybe too much or something. When you talk something, oh, and then think about myself too. When you whatever your experience you have, and then
Well,
oh
that's natural to think
yeah,
about your.
yeah. But maybe I think maybe because I'm so relaxing. That's why maybe usually if I'm talking with someone else, maybe okay, yes, I understand something like that. But since I'm really comfortable with you, just thinking, just thinking, and then maybe some that time, I don't listen to you, yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
yeah,
So my mom took a personality test, and this test has 90% validity. Just to give you an idea, Myers-Briggs only has 40% validity. And she took a personality test, which is the highest amount of validity, and it's 90%. On that test, her personality is an extreme introvert. So she's extremely introverted. In her own time, she'd rather not socialize. She'd rather just do her own thing. She'd rather stay at home and whatever it may be. And she also is on a scale of, there's a justice scale on it, and she's extreme justice, and she's extreme process and systems oriented. So my mom is the type of person, she works with a bunch of engineers. She's very comfortable in that environment. And engineers, naturally, they just have that certain mind. They think about process and systems, and they're also all introverted. So they get along mostly on the subject. And I think that's probably why you're saying that, is that, oh, there's a subject matter. There's a point in which we know we're communicating for a specific reason. And so there's not that much socialization that needs to happen. But that's part of socialization, is that you recognize that the other person, that's their personality. And in the business environment, you naturally, birds of a feather flock together. So in some ways, you naturally go to that because you naturally go into an industry that you like, etc. But when it comes to personal life and people that are different from you, my mom is a great example. She's very different from me. I'm a little bit more risk oriented. I like to take a lot of risk. I'm more creative oriented. She's more logic oriented, right? Would you say that's true? We're pretty much the opposite in a lot of ways, personality wise.
yeah,
Okasan?
so
Yeah.
you're more
Yeah.
creative, yeah, so
But again, it doesn't matter that we're so opposite, just because, again, our communication, it doesn't have to be that. But I will say, because in this test I discovered we can flex our personality when we're in low stress situations, right? We can flex it, we can accommodate with people very easily. But when it comes to high stress situations, when you're in a high stress environment, that's when your true personality comes out. And so for me, my true personality is to right away check with the people first, because I'm a people oriented person. So I check in with what people uh, are doing first. And then I immediately like to take lead. Whether I should be taking lead or not would be based on the people. So I think that's why I check in with the people first. I immediately want to take lead, and then I have extreme low patience, so I need to get it done right the F now. I mean, I'm like this, and I mean, the extreme low patience in me. So at I'm very good at leading people through a crisis, but I'm not so good at being the technical person in a crisis. But my mom, she would be very good at the technical process in a crisis. And business, as an example, I would say, is that I would be really good. Like when I did management, I felt, and humbly so, I felt that I was really good at leading a team through a crisis or through stressful moments. But my team members were really good at executing those very technical things very fast and being a master at that. And I think my mom is very good at being a master at those. She can systemize and order things in her head like nothing, right? She's just one of those, she's an executive assistant. You're an executive assistant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so you like, she just systemizes things, and she's a team oriented person. So she's not necessarily the person who takes lead in terms of, okay, you do this, you do that, you do this. And then, right.
You're organized, you know? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're more of the person who's democracy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, sorry, what? I can't hear you.
Yeah, it has been so many democracies.
Yeah. And
yeah.
Sorry, what?
You have to you know, get along with those, you know, environment, because you know, if you know your manager change, you know, everything, you know, everything's changed, right? You know, the way. So you have to change your system, you know, whatever you've been doing, you know. So you need to adjust, you know, yeah, whatever, you know, their new plans or whatever, you know. Yeah, so you have to be very flexible, you know, that way, yeah. Mm-hmm. I think you too, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Robert asked which personality test. This is a corporate only personality test, so regular citizens aren't able to test it. So unless your company is enrolled in it and HR gives you that test, and unless you're in also management, you won't be able to see that test. So yeah, but it's called the Culture Index. So if you want to look them up, go ahead. That being said, so to the point of that, when we get into an argument, I think that becomes very obvious, especially when I was, not so much now because we're never in a high stress environment together, but when I was younger in high school, and okay, or this is a good example, is one time, sorry. In high school, I would not understand her system and process orientedness because I'm more of a go with the flow kind of person, although I do love systems and process. So I'm not saying I don't like it, but I'm more flexible in that. But my mom is, hey, look, we already agreed upon this. So this is it, unless we have another sit down conversation on this, and then we thoroughly break it down and make sure that it's right. So it's more, and for me, because I'm so I'm not democracy, or I'm not, I'd like to just, okay, wait, but this made sense at the time. So there was problems that was caused. I will say, going back to the point of, yes, and going back to the point of, okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about the shyness and my socialization and what that caused me, because a really good time, you probably remember this, you probably don't, I don't know, but when I was 8 or 9 or something, we went to a winery as a family. I don't know if you know where I'm going to this. Okay, so we went to a winery as a family. We went to a sushi restaurant. My mom was drinking wine. My mom is very light.
Yeah. And so, yeah,
My mom is very lightweight. You can tell the story. Okay, my mom is very lightweight.
And I fell down, I fainted.
Yes.
The bathroom, yes. Yeah, so, you know, I went with bathroom, you know, restroom with, you know, Tina, you know, after, you know, I had wine tasting, you know, but I think, you know, I felt sick, you know, in the bathroom. And then, so, you know, I fainted. And then I fell down on the floor. And the Tina was right there, but she just, I told her, I'm okay, I'm daijoubu, you know. Yes. And then, so she just left. And then she never came back after that.
Okay. And listen, it's because, and this is why people have told me you're probably autistic on a spectrum, only because there would be things like that happens all the time. What happened was I went to a restaurant. Yes, we went to the bathroom together. She was a little drunk, right? Accidentally. She was on the floor, and I had the sense to ask, "Hey, are you okay?" I did ask that. I remember that. And she said, "I'm okay." And of course, this is all in Japanese, daijoubu, right? And she's like, "I'm okay." So I thought in my head, she's okay because my mother just told me I'm okay. So I went back to my chair with the rest of the family, and I didn't say anything. And it wasn't.
you you are eating the food that time.
Yes, I proceeded to eat food because everything was fine. There was nothing to think about. And it wasn't until my dad asked, hey, what's going on with your mom? She's been in the bathroom for a while." And I just told him, "Yeah, she's still in the bathroom." And I had no sense in my head to say, "Oh, yeah, she's on the floor." And of course, even if I didn't know what being drunk meant, I could have at least mentioned she was on the floor. And yeah, that's kind of unusual. It wasn't until my dad went to the bathroom and he passed by and he had to look in the women's bathroom and he saw my mom passed out on the floor. And well, not Pat, but you were drunk, right? But you were on the floor, so it was that severe.
Yeah, because I felt much better because the floor was so cold.
And this is a public restaurant, okay? So anyway, that's one example of me. I used to take things, and I still do, I'm still working on it, but I used to take what people said on face value. So if my mom said she was okay, I just thought she was okay.
Mm.
And mhm.
Is that American way, or if you are Japanese, even though you say, we say daijoubu, automatically for everything, actually, So, but we know it's not okay, right? So,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true, but it's not a cultural thing because
okay.
I've asked my American friends and they said I was weird. No, it's because, and I've had a problem even in high school. I would still take things as face value because I have a problem with lying. You know this. I have a problem with lying because I never really practiced it, and I didn't realize that kids, they practice lying. I mean, something as small as I didn't steal the cookie from the cookie jar. But naturally, as humans, we practice lying. And I never honed, I wouldn't say I never, but I didn't hone in on that skill because I just was very blunt and I said things as I saw it. And so I didn't practice lying, unlike most humans in the world. And I don't think lying is necessarily a bad thing, especially if you're talking about white lies. So, for example, if my friend, even in high school, would say, "Hey, do I look okay?" And instead of saying, or at least omitting that she doesn't look okay, or, I would say, "Wow, like, you look like crap right now. You look horrible." I would say stuff like that. But and then I don't know how I had friends, but but I would say stuff and not think, not even trying to be funny or not even trying to any type of way. I just thought, well, you asked for my opinion, I'm giving you my opinion. There was no thought process of, well, how might this affect this person? Will this hurt this person? Is there a better way of me saying it? How can I package what I really, or what are they really asking me, right? Are they really asking me if they look okay? Or usually they're asking something else. They're asking for a validation. They're asking for reassurance, because maybe they feel nervous about their presentation. They're asking for advice if they can maybe change their clothes. So what is it they're really asking for versus what they're saying? And that's the first time in around when I was 19, 20, when my best friends broke up with me and my high school sweetheart broke up with me in the same month. And I was so devastated that it made me think, okay, maybe I'm doing something wrong. And a lot of it was, oh, I'm way too blunt. Not only that, but I'm also blunt because I don't understand what people mean when they say words, because people never mean what they say. I'm not saying never, but for the most part, people don't mean what they say. There's an underlining context. And it's worse when you're a female, because I think even my mom had expectations of me as a female that I would understand what's going on socially. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and my brothers didn't necessarily have that same pressure, because boys will be boys, and boys are okay if they're a little bit rough and tough and insensitive and a little bit blunt, etc., or a little bit rude. But I think as a female, it affected me a lot, simply because it was expected of me in society. And so it hurt me even more in my relationships, in uh, whether it was friendship, dating, or my coworkers I worked with, etc., because people had expectations of me that I couldn't fulfill socially speaking. And so I had to learn very quickly on what it is people actually meant, which brought me into, okay, don't look at the words, look at their tonality, hear their tonality. What is it they're actually saying? Why are they asking the question? What's the real question behind the question that they're asking? And it becomes this complex web if you haven't done it. If you started to make those connections at 19 versus most people makes those connections at 6 years old, or I don't know, 5 years old or something. And yeah, and it's just one of those things that happened. Unfortunately, your friends were able to be blunt with you about your bluntness. Yes, but fortunately now, I have friends who are very blunt about my bluntness. And my mom, of course, because she is non-confrontational, and she doesn't necessarily like to voice her opinion or what she's thinking, or if something bothers her, right? I mean, you could confirm this. You're the type of person to bottle it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just put that thing in myself.
Right. And so over here, with no ill intention, I would think, oh, everything's fine because nothing's happening. And then meanwhile, my mom is getting angry inside. And another example, I remember this so clearly, is that you once, well, this is when I was 8 or I don't know, 6, or I don't know how old I was, but you came into my room and you asked me to do the dishes, right? And I said, oh, okay. And then you said, oh, you know what? Never mind. I'll do the dishes.
Yeah, because you didn't move at all. So forget, I would do it, Yeah. Maybe.
Yes. So in my head, I thought, oh, and I remember saying this too. I remember saying, oh, wow, thank you, mom. Right. I mean, I wouldn't say mom, but I said, thank you. Like, that's so sweet of you. That's so kind of you. I didn't know her tone of voice said, this is being sarcastic. And so I thought she genuinely, I thought she was just being kind, and she was just offering to do the dishes for me. And then, of course, 1 minute later, she comes in crying. My dad comes in yelling at me, how dare you make your mom work for you? Is she your slave? This and that. And then he's yelling at me. And I was so confused. I didn't understand. And I think there was a lot of moments like that in which I always got in trouble, and I didn't understand why I was getting in trouble, because people assumed that I knew what sarcasm was, for example. And in my head, I'm thinking, my mom just lied to me, and now I'm getting in trouble, even though my mom lied to me about doing the dishes. And so I felt like I was being treated unfairly, because nobody explained to me, and fairly so, because most kids would understand. It's usually because they're just trying to be a little brat. and it just didn't register in my head for some reason. And I don't know when people pick that up, but I still have a problem with sarcasm, and I think my friends can vouch for this. But when people are very sarcastic people, it's hard for me to catch on whether they're being sarcastic or they mean it, because my natural tendency is to take things as face value. So if you're saying you're okay, I think you're okay. If you say whatever it is that you say, I have to actually really think about it. And you don't understand how much thought process I I actually go through in order to figure out what a person actually means. So I tend to not be really close with anybody who is non-confrontational, because I'll never figure out if you're mad at me or not. And I wouldn't even catch on if you are mad at me. Now I'm more cognizant. So I'll look at your behavior and see if it's a little bit different or a little bit off. But it's a very conscious thing. I have to really, really look for it. And it's a problem. So now, yeah, again, everybody who's close to me, they tend to be very brutal people and very blunt people, and the type of people who will just yell at you to your face, because that works for me, because I can understand. If there's a dialogue, I can understand. People who tend to be extremely introverted, where they can't talk to me, or they go internal instead of communicating with me, we end up not, we just can't be close, because I just fundamentally, I don't understand it. Victoria feels offended. Happy birthday, Tina. I mean it though. I normally say that sarcastically, but not today. Definitely not today. I don't think, Bronson. Thank you, Bronson. Yeah, so anyway, I'm sorry, because that must have been difficult for you as a mother.
No, but I think everyone needs to learn something, maybe some points are kind of weak points. I'm not good at, praising people. So maybe I should praise more, like
Oh,
or something like that. So I'm learning that. I'm still learning that. Some people really good at that. When you see some guy, oh, your sky is so cute and something like that. But myself, I don't even realize it. Some people notice, someone's shoes. Oh, wow, that's a new shoes, and they praise. But I'm not good at doing that. So maybe you have to learn, some of your weak points. Yeah, and then
and
maybe.
I will say, okay, so you know what's very interesting?
Mhm.
My love language, and if you know the 5 love language, it's whatever it's basically your language in which you feel loved. So there's, what is it? Words of affirmation, acts of service, gifts, physical touch, and I always forget the fifth one. Um, Gifts, acts of service, physical touch. Do you know the other one? Chat, help me out. What's the fifth one? Oh, I know it too. I know it. Well, it's something, words of, yeah. So anyway, for me, it's words of affirmation. And quality time. Thank you. Thank you, Vic. Quality time. For me, it's words of affirmation. That's my primary, probably because my mom didn't give me enough words of
Yeah, I know.
affirmation.
Yeah, I should have, praised you more. So yeah, but
Yeah. So now I'm the type of person.
I didn't even say I love you because in Japanese culture we don't say much. Yeah, you know. But now I do. Yeah, but I have to learn. Yeah.
Yeah. And my mom is very, very much so. I'm still learning. I'm still growing, which I really love. And that's what I've learned from her. Uh, for me, yeah, it is words of affirmation, probably because I didn't really get it at home. And to your point, yeah, it's in the Japanese culture not to say I love you. And so I think I crave those words, especially because I like words, because I understand words
Yeah.
over anything else. But then my mom, on the other hand, this is something I recently learned, thanks to one of my good friends. Is acts of service. I think it's acts of service.
Mm.
Is it acts of service, Okasa? Love
Yeah.
language.
Mm, maybe.
Do you understand what I'm saying? This is what I mean. She doesn't know what I'm saying.
ちょっと今ちょっと違うところに行ってて分かんなかった。
Oh my gosh. Okay, to be fair, everybody, we speak to each other in Japanese normally, so we're trying to speak in English. But anyway, acts of service. I honestly, my mom is acts of service. The fifth one is fast food. Okay, right, quality time, not fast food. Yeah, so my mom is acts of service, which I don't know anything about until one of my good friend, Victoria, yelled at me because she's acts of service too. And so she pointed out all of the things that I could be doing, but I don't do, and what acts of service looks like, what it means. And I dated a guy who was acts of service as well. And it was so stressful for me to do it. And then I realized, because I obviously cared about my friend Victoria, so I tried to really learn acts of service and and I'm still learning. I'm not a professional at acts of service, but since doing that for my friend, acts of service, and just trying to do little things. When I visited you, and I visit you often, right? I started to realize, oh wait, my mom is acts of service. She likes it when I take out the trash without her asking me, and that's why she used to get mad at me when I wouldn't do certain things.
That's why you've been doing that.
You notice?
Notice, yeah, because seems like you act different, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm trying to show that I care and that I love you.
Yeah, because that way, I feel I'm loved, right? Yeah,
Yeah, but my mom never told me she's acts of service. I just figured, oh, that's probably why she's getting mad. So yeah, so then I started to take out trash. I started to, I don't know, just do little things that I don't know.
Yeah.
And even in Japan, when I visit, we went to see Obachan and my grandma. I opened the door for her, and I was just doing little, and I carried her bag for her, and just little things that I normally wouldn't have really thought about, because we are all individual, like, strong women, that in my head, I thought, okay, everybody's good. Everybody, right? They know how to take care of themselves. But then I realized it's not about, of course, and even my friend Victoria, she's an extremely strong-willed woman, but of course she likes people to take care of her, and just to show that they care, and that, hey, I'm here for you, hey, I love you. And I didn't know that until my friend pointed that out, which I think really affected my relationship with you on another level, where I can express my care and love for you again without saying any words, because words do not mean much to you. If I said I love you every day, it doesn't really mean too much to you.
Yeah, too much to me.
Yeah.
Act is, most important for me, Yeah.
Yeah. So to my mother, it's better if I don't even have to say anything. I just need to do those little stuff for my mom, and she would feel loved. But for me, now that my mom is saying I love you more often, I feel loved. And so it's just understanding, even till this day. And I've known you, for me, I've known you my whole life. Obviously, you're my mother, and our relationship is better than ever because of both of us always but always learning and growing, and right, developing ourselves as individuals. And I'm lucky enough that I have a mother like that. But also taking on my personal responsibility of what I've done that made my mom, not favor me in certain moments. What can I do better? And this goes for every relationship, of course, whatever, and with anybody. But I think when it comes to family, it's easy to not do that, because they will always be your family. So you don't have to. I think people get into you don't have to, but I always want a better relationship, and I think it starts with people you're already close with. So okay, if you have any any questions, you can ask it now. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up. I think it's good.
Thank you. And
Oh, 日本語で話したいらしい、or
誰が
チャットの皆さん。
日本語で話してください。
お母さんの方を聞きたいと思う。
何を
だから、they want to hear you speak Japanese.
何を話せばいいのかなわかんないけれども。
But nobody knows Japanese. Well, except for
誰か話せる人いるでしょ
いると思う。じゃなければ意味がないんじゃないの？
いつもありがとうございます。ティナがお世話になってます。何
To who?
わかんないけど。
Oh my gosh.
言うのよ。だから日本語では言うのお世話になってますって。
Yeah, わかる。Yeah, I know. 一応ね。
一応ね。
Yeah. Bronson's like, finally. 一応、私も日本語できるんだけど、あんまりやっぱり英語の方ができる。Of course, because I speak English.
The vocabulary.
単語が少ないんだよ。
I know, maybe you have an elementary school vocabulary.
Elementary school? That's
no,
not even
junior
true.
high school vocabulary.
Oh my God. Freaking savage.
You know how, yeah, pronunciation is perfect, so.
Well, because I sound like you, apparently.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's funny because when I speak in Japanese, my mannerisms are different.
Oh, yes, I know. Yeah, you act more kawaii, cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm supposed to. When I speak in English, I'm a little bit more.
Yeah, I know. It's like,
It's true.
When you speak Japanese.
But that's what's culturally expected. はい。どうも。わかりました。
Somehow you do,
Okay, but who do you think I learned that from?
From me.
Exactly. Thank you for sharing your heart in this way, Tina. Bless you. And of course, happy birthday. Thank you, Charles. Yes, love this. Don't have to understand the words. I pick up the emotions. Exactly, Robert. Tina さんは日本語喋ってる。いいですよ。Oh, thanks, Steve. English boss Tina, Japanese Tina, lady Tina. Patrick. Yes. That's true. All right, let's wrap this up. Thank you, Okasan, for coming on. And thank you for the birthday cake, the virtual birthday cake.
Oh, I wanted to tell you, my happiest moment so far, when I record, you were in my tummy, Yeah, because I still remember that was spring, and then we went to the picnic and under the cherry blossoms, and then, I think I was at 9 months of pregnancy, and then I had you, and then, like this, but, I feel so happy the moment, when I have, I don't know why, but, I was so happy, and, I'm more happy to have you, Thank you so much.
See, words of affirmation. Oh, I'm gonna get emotional.
I love you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well now she's just trying to put the whipped cream and cherry on top. Okay, thank you everybody for coming, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.